Welcome back to another video, everybody, for the skimboarding series. This video right here is about skimboard wear. Now, I've chosen this topic purely because over the last year or two mainly, I have had a lot of questions and emails and things from people buying boards. This has 9 times out of 10 or more been a beginner related question about their skimboard wearing. Now, first and foremost, skimboards. My skimboards, I am talking purely for my company here at Access Skimboards. I make these boards to be the most durable and high performing product basically available. When used correctly, and when you're not hitting rocks and shells and intentionally damaging them, they will last a long time. I have both types of boards here, which I'm going to show you an example of both. The biggest one here is with a flatland board. Now, I have touched on Formica. This is Formica. So on a board like this, which is an Access Slip Easy, we have a top sheet of this, top and bottom sheet of this. So one of these, top and bottom, as you can see on this sample here, it is a green speckled finish. I've used that for years because I bought a ridiculous amount of it years ago. And then of course the actual laminate and what the stuff's made up of is that brown. And what you can see here, this was my go-to flatland board for a long time. You can see here on the top we've got this really cool, well, you can't see a lot because it's got traction underneath, but it's like this blue marbly finish. And on the bottom, as you can see here, originally was a grey Formica. Now you can see there's extensive wear on this board. This has been used a lot. I've worn through the tail. I've even worn through to the second ply. So I've gone through Formica through the first ply to the second ply. This board's obviously heavily worn, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's worn out. This is what will happen when you're using a flatland board. I'm using an example right now of a flatland board because flatland you typically run and you're in contact with the sand every single run of the board. And what this means is you're going to wear your board out. You're going to wear your board out. A heavier rider is going to wear the board out quicker than a lighter rider because there's more pressure on the sand. Sand is incredibly abrasive. And when you're doing this up and down the beach time and time again, your board will wear out. There is nothing you can do about this. I get a lot of emails about people wanting to coat it for protection and things like that. I know people have coated them with like a coat of resin, and I mean, I've never done it to any of my boards. I kind of just look at it as a waste of time. I'd rather just run the board until it dies and then start using another one. What I try to do here in New Zealand is people who are actively skimboarding and actively using my product and actively wear it out. Sorry, I've done this for years, is I hook them up with deals for replacement boards. They're not a warranty or a replacement board, but if you're going through skimboards, a lot of people go through them quite quickly because they're wearing them out, and it's that simple. So yes, of course they are meant to wear. They will change colour, and a lot of the time, as I mentioned with this here sample, the actual colour on top must be about 10 or 20% of the laminate colour, so they can change and lose their original colour sometimes quite quickly. To probably what would be more a seasoned flatland rider, that's like a badge of honour really, because it means you've actually been skimboarding. This board here is still good to go. I would have not hesitated at all to run this up and down rails. You can see it's just had the snot beaten out of it really. I've hit shells and rocks and 10,000 rails on this thing, and you know, it's sweet as. So that's kind of what you're looking at from board wear. Of course, that is on my Slip Easy and Gromlin line. They're going to wear the same. The Slip Easy will hold up the actual core of the board longer term in terms of durability. Now, wave boards, this has been probably the lot more variable one through the last year or two. This board here, don't worry about this up here. This is where I damage it and fix it very quickly before a trip. My boards here, and I'll talk carbon fiber on this example, is that I have on my carbon boards, the carbon, when a coloured board like this one here, it's coloured a dark brown, so it's really a terrible example, but it is the most wear I can show you around the place on any boards I have sitting here. The carbon is the closest layer to the foam on the board, and then I have multiple layers of fiberglass over the top of that carbon fiber. So usually by the time you've got to the carbon fiber, you've worn through multiple layers of glass. Some people will then wear through the carbon and wear through to the foam. In 99 out of 100 cases, there's not a board defect. A lot of the time people are simply just running them up and down the sand. Carbon fibre is very wear resistant, so is fiberglass, but it's just the nature of the beast when it comes to skimboard wear. Some people can wear them out relatively quickly because they're not really using them, in my opinion, they're not really using them in wave and deeper water conditions. They're typically just running them through this deeper water all day, and you sometimes see a lot of wear on one side of the board, which typically means they're favoring turning one way. And you know, I mentioned at the start of the video, that's usually a beginner thing because we tend to favor turning one way. Fiberglass, a 4-wear glass board, again wears differently because you don't have that real identifiable mark of carbon fiber under there. So it's very application dependent. It is very rider dependent. I know a couple guys here who have extensively used boards for a year or two, and the boards look friggin' mint because they just avoid the sand. Your board won't wear out if there's no friction made from the sand. So if you've shelled out plenty of money for a brand new wave board, and you think it's wearing out or it's going to wear out far too quickly, then just try to avoid running it through super shallow water all the time. Of course, if you're not worried about it, I'm not by any means saying do not use them in shallow water, but the reality is that you're going to wear your board out considerably quicker if you're running it in super shallow water all the time. Feel free to get along to oaksyskimboards.co.nz and check out my range. I have mentioned, as sort of covered here in this video, I've got wood boards, I've got top quality wood boards and top quality foam boards. You can feel free to drop a comment down below in this here comment box, and any other links and social media stuff will be in the description box down below. I'm Sam Price, so I'll see you at the beach.